Welcome to this communion message. Have you ever prayed for something so desperately? Usually for me, it's someone is ill, close to death, has cancer, something tragic, and I will pray to God to help, to cure. Sometimes it happens the person gets better, but many times it doesn't. How do I react when I pray for something so desperately and the answer is no? Or the answer maybe just not right now. But let's look at Jacob. He's in this desperate situation. He's going to meet his brother Esau. Esau is coming to him with 400 men on horseback. And Jacob seems terrified. Let's look at the story of Jacob as he wrestled all night.
Got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go, unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask my name?" Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore to this day the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon. Genesis 33.
This is a powerful story. We see the example of struggling for something all night long. To struggle for something till it's morning, till it's done. But I do find this story a little strange. The idea of wrestling all night is beyond my comprehension. If you ever wrestle or you run a 100-yard dash, afterwards you are exhausted. Running at full speed or doing something with all of your strength, within a few minutes, you are exhausted. I would imagine somebody who's a triathlon marathon runner, that kind of person maybe could do it. But at the end of this story, Jacob says, "I have seen God face to face." That's even more strange. So let me try to imagine this. Jacob, the man, got God in some kind of half Nelson move and was able to hold him, pin the Almighty God down all night long, and God was not able to get free. So what do we have here? Jacob here also does not ask to be saved. The thing that would be so devastating to him is the safety of his own life, the safety of his family, the hired people that he has with him, his flock. His brother Esau could have easily come and destroyed everything. But Jacob doesn't ask for his life. He asks for a blessing. and he gets a blessing. He gets into a blessed relationship with the man he's wrestling with. But he gets something else. In this process, he gets a new name. They gave him the name Israel. Israel, if you break it down, does mean he who struggles with God. But as a name, it means he who will rule with God. So who will rule with God? Well, Jesus. So what we really have here, the underlying story, is that you have a figure of Jesus, the Israel, the one who will rule with God, now in a situation opposite God, wrestling. And who can hold God off all night and God cannot overcome? God can do that. Jesus, God. So Jesus and God are wrestling all night. Where would we see something like that in the New Testament? At Gethsemane. You have Jesus who is down on his knees praying. He is pleading with God to somehow undo this cross that he is about to go to come up with a new plan. Jesus, with all of his heart, doesn't want to be separated from God. So he's pleading, come up with another plan. So Jesus isn't simply pleading for his life, but he's pleading for his relationship with God to stay intact. And so he pleads, he wrestles in prayer all night long. But then the one who changes is Jesus. And he gets up, resolutely goes to the cross. This is the same with Jacob. And the same with us as we get so desperately praying to God to grant us our wish, the healing, the blessing. But what we see is that Jacob is given a new identity, a new spirit about him, a new faith. Not exactly what he was anticipating, but the person that changed was Jacob. And sometimes God will change for us and give us the blessing that we're wanting. But we should hold so heartedly to the idea of we are the one that can change in these times. The times of struggle is also a time for change and growth and maturity. So even in God saying no and taking away a loved one, that is also a blessing that allows us to grow and mature and develop a new sense of self, a self that is part of God and a deeper relationship with God and a deeper faith. Not simply in God doing what we want, but being more like God and who He is.